Coming up on tonight's show, a quiet buying up of U.S. media by the nation's billionaires continues to go unnoticed by most Americans. I'll bring you all the gory details. Has anyone tried asking them nicely to stop it? No, I'm just mean like a take them out to a brunch, a little please, that kind of thing. I'm just saying. Plus, the World Bank is at it again, pillaging the world in the name of helping people. It's insanity. I'm kidding. They're not at it again. They never stop. They're just at it. They don't even take holidays off. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Unredacted Tonight. I'm the most censored comedian in America, Lee Camp. The consolidation of all American media, including social media, in the hands of a few sociopaths over the past decade has been quick and painless. If you consider an appendectomy performed on the floor of a Best Buy stock room with a ballpoint pen painless. Yes, Craig, I would like a spoon to bite down on. What do you think? Well, I have no doubt everyone watching this knows certain aspects of this consolidation. I doubt everyone realizes the true breadth of it. And consolidation is a nice, friendly term for a bloodthirsty, diseased monster eating up an entire industry and then shitting out the undigestible bits, beaks and toenails and stuff. Let's get into the worst offenders so you can understand just how our media now is. Larry Ellison, the caricature cartoon villain who is sometimes the richest and sometimes the second richest man in the world with around $400 billion. What is it about billionaires that their faces end up greasy? Like how the does that happen? You just get over $100 billion mark and your forehead starts oozing the pus of your victims, or what happens? What is that? Anyway, Larry Ellison, along with his son David, now own TikTok and Skydance. Skydance recently bought Paramount, which means they also own CBS. And as you know, they already put in pro-Trump, pro-Israel lunatic Barry Weiss as head of CBS News. She was literally rejected as a co-host of The View. There are farm animals that could co-host The View. There have been farm animals co-hosting The View. But I see Barry Weiss at the top of CBS News as a real positive moment for society when you think about it. Here is an utterly mediocre, failed white newswoman, and she has gotten to the pinnacle of the news business. It used to be only white men could do that. How beautiful that a remedial, unremarkable white lady can now get the same privilege as white men. So exciting. That's progress. But that's not all that Paramount owns, which means Larry Ellison owns it. It includes MTV, Nickelodeon, VH1, CMT, BET, Showtime, Fubo TV, Pluto TV, Comedy Central, and the CW. But the sociopath Ellison is not done yet. He's still hungry. Skydance is trying to buy up Warner Brothers Discovery as well, which that deal could go through any day now. Warner Brothers Discovery means that Ellison will soon have control of Warner Brothers and Discovery. You guessed that one, didn't you? But under the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella, they will also have gobbled up New Line Cinema, Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera, WB, Water Tower Music, Geffen Pictures, HBO Max, Cinemax, TNT, TBS, True TV, HDTV, Food Network, TLC, Animal Planet, Travel Channel, Science Channel, OWN, Turtle Classic Music, and CNN. Both domestic and worldwide CNN. That's like every channel there is on the TV. Luckily, most of that was garbage to begin with. Not sure how much the billionaire potato head can ruin like that Hoarders show on True TV, but still, it's scary. Okay, all of that part of the consolidation was just one guy? He's crazy. On to the other, sometimes richest man in the world, Elon Musk, also worth $400 billion. Fun fact, he's had the same amount of hair transplanted on the top of his head as Larry Ellison has had transplanted on the front of his face. That's fascinating. I find it fascinating. I don't know. You don't have to. As you know, Elon Musk owns Twitter X, and he's turned it into a bastion of free speech. unless you criticize him or support unions or criticize Israel, et cetera, et cetera. Then you might find that your retweet numbers are lower than a high schooler with an X account for his dog. Was Twitter censored and suppressed before the richest sociopath in the world bought it? Absolutely. Oh my God, was it? So now it's censored and suppressed in a totally better and awesome new way. That's called innovation. Sure, X is the only media Elon Musk owns, but it was at one time called the global town square. So Musk bought the global town square. That's called innovation. He's an innovator. What can I say? Shockingly, much like Ellison owning CBS, this has turned Twitter X into a largely pro-Trump, pro-Israel, pro-genocide safe space. Aw, it's a place where sociopath fascist snowflakes can finally feel comfortable. It's a bunch of neo-Nazis knitting sweaters for each other. Ah, adorbs. Third richest man in the world, Mark Zuckerberg, with around $220 billion. He used to be a cyborg, and now he's a bro dude. Oh, he's a cyborg. He owns the majority of voting shares of Meta, which means he controls Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp. Just Facebook and Instagram Reels get 200 billion views per day. That's a massive ability to control what the population thinks and what kinds of posts we share with each other. And you may think, people can post whatever they want on Facebook or Instagram. It's not really censorship. Well, even when the overlords aren't actively taking things down, which they do sometimes, they're quite easily controlling what gets the most views. For example, my Facebook page with 330,000 followers has been heavily shadow banned since 2016. What happened in 2016? I can't. A crazy-haired man named Bernie Sanders almost became president of the United States. For some odd reason, the billionaires decided that a free and democratized online commons was not a good thing at that point. You see, the problem is that 99.9% of the people are not billionaires. And when you let them talk to each other, they have a tendency to talk about how 99.9% of people are getting screwed. And they start to get these ideas, you see, in their noggins. And those ideas are that billionaires are not good people. And so I think the options are just to slightly suppress the posts that criticize the ruling elite or execute everyone who's not a billionaire. Now, what do you guys think? I'm opening the floor here because I really am ambivalent. I could go for either idea. I love them both. And that was my best Zuckerberg impression. Next up, fourth richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos. Did he not get the memo that billionaires can have hair stapled on any part of their head they want? Why? But luckily, he did get the gooey victim's pus for his facial glow. What shop on Etsy sells that shit? Seriously, Victim Glow. I'm starting that brand. I'm starting that brand. Anyway, Bezos bought the Washington Post in 2013 so he could control one of the biggest news outlets in the country. He also has gigantic contracts with both the U.S. government and with Israel. Plus, he's been cozying up with Trump a lot more in his second term. But when talking about the media takeover, most people don't highlight the fact that Bezos' Amazon is also the world's largest bookseller. Books are where we get information. Amazon controls over 50% of all new book sales in the U.S. and is responsible for about 80% of all book distribution. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I don't read books anymore. I don't even know anybody who reads books anymore. I forgot what books were until you said it right there. True, I get it. But the people who write the articles in the columns about how the world works, they often read books. They back up their claims with books, and they have to get those books from somewhere. And Amazon has the ability to ban books, which they do use. For example, they wouldn't print the love poem that I wrote to Luigi Mangione. What's that about? Amazon, it's a love poem. It's love. It's sweet. What? Next up, the 5th and 6th richest people in the world, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, the founders of Google. I don't think I have to tell you how much power Google has to either rank or de-rank information. Any topic in the world you search for, where will you be pointed first? Well, the largest, most corrupt, most biased media entities in the world, including New York Times, Fox News, Washington Post, all of those. You will not be pointed to excellent independent journalism by media entities that are not owned by gooey parasitic billionaires. So that alone allows the deep manipulation of the general population because people are lazy. We're lazy. They stop after the first page of the Google result. I do it too. I Googled myself the other day, and the first page was attack pieces by the New York Times and NPR, Wikipedia and shit. And rather than trek to page 2, I just believed all that awful shit. I was like, wow, this Lee Camp guy's a real dick. Oh, my God. First page of Google doesn't lie. On top of that, Google Alphabet also owns YouTube. And if certain YouTube creators been censored or suppressed at all, not that I know of. Sure, you put out a video that acts like the two capitalist shit show parties are the only thing in the world that anyone could ever vote between, and that video will get 80 billion views. But you try to put out a nuanced, real, deep diving, significant shit like this video right here, and it's shown to 12 naked bike riders in Portland, Oregon, and that's it. I'm not trying to insult my naked Portland fans. You guys are great. I love you. You guys should wash the bike seats though after when you're done. Like seriously. And yes, in case you were worried that perhaps Sergey and Larry and Alphabet were the first folks on this media ownership list who weren't completely and utterly in the pocket of Israel, not long ago, Israel and Google launched a $45 million propaganda campaign to deny the Gaza famine. Jesus, how do you sleep at night? That's some strong-ass Ambien. I feel like Gaza genocide denier Ambien, that should be a whole other brand. That's some strong shit right there. Looking to deny a genocide and get a great night's sleep? Gaza genocide denier Ambien. On top of that, last March, they bought Israeli tech company Wiz for $32 billion. Not only was it the most expensive acquisition Google Alphabet has ever made, but in 2024, Wiz took in only $350 million. But Google paid $32 billion for it. I don't think this was any kind of life preserver thrown to a struggling genocidal apartheid state, was it? Couldn't be. That would be ruthless and nefarious and wrong. And billionaires never do that kind of thing. Finally, we'll skip down to the 38th richest man alive, Rupert Murdoch. That flaccid skin sack is worth over $24 billion. You have to commend him for not getting the procedure where they pull all the face skin back so you look like you just walked into a saran wrap. However, I don't know why he looks like he had extra skin just like lumped on, like sewn. Like maybe he chose to go with collecting little pieces of skin from each of his victims rather than pus. I think that's classier. Anyway, his empire includes News Corp, Fox Corporation, which includes Fox News, Fox Sports, Fox TV, TMZ, Dow Jones, The Wall Street Journal, Barron's, MarketWatch, Sky News, and publishing giant HarperCollins. And I'm sure it will shock you that this sociopath also has been a longtime vocal supporter of the apartheid genocide state. He said Israel defends Western civilization. What the hell does that? Oh, white people. I get it now. I wasn't sure what he meant by Western civilization since Israel isn't in the West and Murdoch is technically Australian. But now I get it. Way to sink that in, Rupee. I got it. I got you. So between this tiny handful of unhinged, narcissistic, broken, greasy white men, they own the vast majority of American media. And it's not just what they actively censor when needed, it's what they quietly leave out in their gargantuan amount of content and coverage. It's not like HBO Max is pumping out an endless spree of pro-Israel content. Rather, it's that HBO Max almost never, with maybe the exception of 8 Minutes by John Oliver once every 3 years, almost never puts out content that tells even a piece of the truth about the genocide in Gaza. Or how about the truth of the breathtaking harms of capitalism in general? I haven't seen a lot of that, have we? And that, my friends, is how it's done. Buy up the media, cover up the truth, rinse and repeat. The World Bank, the giant organization headquartered in and essentially controlled by the United States, they work hard every day to make sure poor countries, mainly the global south, keep getting extracted for the benefit of you and me, the rich countries. We should thank them for keeping us rich as what's that? Sorry. The World Bank works hard to end poverty around the world. That's what they're doing. They're helping people. Ignore the first thing I said. For example, recently the World Bank put out an important report on Nigeria, and Nigeria is struggling. The World Bank projects that 139 million Nigerians will be living in poverty by the end of this year, a nearly 60% increase from 87 million in 2023. Poverty is going nuts there. Way over half of the Nigerian population is in poverty. That's horrible. But luckily, we have the World Bank to swoop in like Superman and help those people. What's that? Oh, sorry. I forgot to read the end of that last quotation. A nearly 60% increase from 87 million in 2023 when President Bola Tinubu started implementing the reforms the World Bank had prescribed on the first day of his term. Wait, the 60% increase in poverty is because of the World Bank's plan for them? What exactly did they tell Tinubu to do? Promising to slash petrol prices during his election campaign, Tinubu declared in his presidential inaugural speech on May 29, 2023, the fuel subsidy is gone, overseeing a petrol price hike of nearly 488% in Africa's largest producer by October 2024. Oh, so Africa's top oil producer suddenly makes oil unaffordable for its own people. The oil gets shipped overseas to rich countries that can afford it. Good job, World Bank. Nice one. Nice one. Plus, expensive oil increased the price of electricity by a lot. And those two things caused a 76% production loss for tomatoes, 25% for corn, and 34% for catfish. Oh, you their food supply too. Wow, World Bank. Is there anything you can't do? You guys are so smart. Using a spreadsheet half a world away, you got Nigerians to kill themselves. That's really impressive. But that's not all. The World Bank had more super cool, rad ideas for Nigeria. Tinubu free-floated the currency and unified the exchange rate in mid-June 2023. At the time, about 465 naira equaled $1. Reduced to a fraction of its value, a dollar costs almost 1,465 naira by November 2024. Their money lost 2/3 of its value. Holy shit. Hope they put something in Bitcoin or maybe shells or something. I don't know. So now, thanks to all those good ideas from the World Bank, the poorest households, 70% of whose total expenditure is on food, are the worst affected, the World Bank observed. Oh, did you observe? Did you observe? They're like an 8-year-old burning ants with a magnifying glass. Ooh, interesting. The Nigerians are writhing in agony when you cut off their food supplies. That's fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, look there. This one here, he can't even find any clean water. Amusing. Amusing. Let's write it in our little notebooks, fellas, shall we? Okay, so we've had 2 years of this garbage from the World Bank. They've seen poverty increase by 60%, which they themselves admit. So I assume now they're saying, holy shit, did we get this wrong? Wow, are we dumb? Oh my God, we were really out to lunch on this one. You know what? I think the day I came up with the plan for Nigeria, I was hungover because I'd been out like all night the night before drinking because I met this hot girl who I thought was gonna me, so I kept hanging out, thinking I'd seal the deal eventually, and then she's like, "Thanks for the fun hang," and she jets, and I'm like, shit, I'm plastered, and I spent $300 on drinks. And then the next day, I'm at work with one bloodshot eye, head pounding, and that was when I wrote the Nigeria plan. I think that's what happened. Yeah, so let's back off those policies because they're not working at all. Is that what they did? The World Bank doubled down on neoliberalism, opening the report's executive summary with the words, Nigeria has made substantial progress on macroeconomic stabilization. The government has implemented important reforms since mid-2023, including the reunification of the exchange rate and removal of the petrol subsidy. Hurrah! Things are going great, says the sociopaths at the World Bank. In fact, they titled their press release about this, Positive Economic Momentum in Nigeria. Now time to bring home the gains. Couldn't agree more. Kids are starving to death. Things couldn't be going better. So, how do we bring home the gains? I bet it's something that benefits all Nigerians, and doesn't it all benefit the U.S. and the West, right? Like nationalizing all the oil and giving all the profits to struggling Nigerians? Something like that, right? The report prescribes tackling food inflation by removing trade barriers, such as import bans and excessive duties, which can flood the domestic market with heavily subsidized produce from the U.S. and other global north countries, driving Nigeria's agrarian classes into even deeper distress. That's right. Now that they're starving, the answer is to buy our food, ship it around the world to feed your people rather than making it feasible for Nigerians to grow their own food. World Bank, you guys are the best. You really do care about humanity. A small segment of humanity that happens to all live in Northern Virginia, belong to a yacht club, and use exclusively single-use house servants that you dispose of at the end of each day. I hope they at least compost. And here are your headlines from the future. Coming up in 1 week, we'll learn Tylenol Company admits it's 20% less effective when taking your life than the label says. I knew it. I knew it didn't seem to have the kick that it should. And coming up in November, we'll find out Trump's so busy he hasn't even had time to ignore his children lately. Luckily, he got a lot of that done when they were little. And finally, on January 10th of next year, we'll hear World Bank issues first thank you card to Global South for starving yourselves so we get richer. That's nice. Wonder if it included any balloons or something. Maybe an edible arrangement. You know, those are nice. And Nigeria could use the food. That's the show, but I got 2 awesome special offers for you. If you sign up as a paying member at my Substack, I'll send you my ebook, Dangerous Ideas, for free. That's realleecamp.substack.com. Or you can get a free month in my members-only community on locals and my newest ebook for free. Just go to leecamp.net, scroll down, click Become a Supporter, and then when you're checking out, use promo code LeeCampFree, one word, all caps. That will get you a free month and my ebook, Dangerous Ideas. That promo code again is LeeCampFree. I'll see you next Thursday. The revolution will have laughter. Keep fighting.